Good Wednesday to you, everybody, in Com 710. Welcome to week boom 4. How's everybody doing? How you hanging in there? Ooh, hang on here a second. Last of the second cup of coffee of the day, much better. Now it is I, your sufficiently caffeinated communication instructor, here to talk about what we're going to be doing in week 4. Okay. Couple of notes before we dive in. I know it's actually it's now the end of January. Yowie zowie. Your stage 1 of your research paper is due on February 20th, and your first class presentation is due on February 5th. So that's in, what is it? Today's the 31st. That's, Monday. It's February 5th. Okay. And, you go over into Canvas, you'll see the assignment link, and there is the instructional sheet. And yes, you can focus on an organization that you're going to focus on as part of your paper topic, but no, you do not have to do that. Okay. Likewise, remember, you should be working on stage 1 of your paper topic. And again, if you're not sure as to what that entails, go over to the assignment section and take a look. And, you'll see the sheet and all the stuff. It's due on the 20th and worth 100 points. Okay, what are we going to be up to this week? Excuse me. In addition to working on your presentation and your paper, we're going to be looking at how information flows around the globe. Okay, and the changing nature of that information, especially where what is news is concerned. So the readings, take a look at Golan chapter 7, 10, and 14. All right, for your readings. And then jump over into the discussion questions. And what I want you to do is dive into a couple of things. First and foremost, there's often a criticism that's leveled against the news, and that is that it frames things, which is true, and it blocks out. And I don't mean like as an but I mean like box out certain parts of the story in order to sell it to the public. All right. That's a fair analysis, but I want you to dive like one more level down. So the first question I'm gonna ask you to take a look at a story that goes way back to, I think, the 90s, the uprising in Tiananmen Square. Okay. And how is it that looking at an image we get what we get? And I'm not going to tell you because then I'd ruin the question for you. Okay. Also, I want you to look at and come to an understanding of what is it that we mean by framing and frames. And it's not talking about pictures on the wall. All right. And some of you, this may be old hat by way of a theoretical approach, especially for some of you that had COM theory. Okay, if you haven't, then this will be interesting because I have 2 exercises for you. One of them I hope you'll find particularly interesting. Back in 2020, as the pandemic was rolling out, there were people speculating about cause, effect, and how best to respond. And it was alleged, it was said that a group of 270 doctors, this was the story, signed a letter asking Spotify to deplatform Joe Rogan for disseminating false and misleading information. All right. I want you to take a look at that story and then take a look at sort of the story behind the story and ask, what's the frame? All right. And then finally, by way of information flow, and we're looking at framing and frame. We're talking about gatekeepers. What sort of information is allowed out, and then of that information, what parts of it are allowed out, and then of that information, what parts of it are is it suggested told to the consumer that are significant and not significant. And within that larger picture, what is news? What about news that doesn't have these gatekeepers? In fact, it's just decided to hop over them, like blogging. Is that actually news? Or maybe, again, I'm not telling you how to answer the question, is it more news than the framed news? You tell me. All right. That is your task this week. Again, last bit of little housekeeping. I noticed that in the discussion thread, yeah, I'm still learning the language for Canvas here. In the discussion thread in which I've asked you to post your paper topic, paper topics. Okay, that not a lot of you are in there yet, and of those that are in there, there's not a lot in the way of feedback. All right, so please get your paper topics in there and give some useful feedback to the people in the class. Okay, and what I mean, and I'm not saying it has to be critical, but what I mean by useful is something, above the. Again, it's nothing wrong with a compliment. Oh, great, interesting topic. Okay, great. That's base level. Now, what else might you suggest? What about do you see a clear theoretical framework? Do you see a clear hypothesis? What kind of literature review might this entail? Give that feedback back and forth to one another, because you're a tremendous resource to each other. Okay, that's all that we have for this short video, about 5 minutes. All right, everybody. Good luck. Have a wonderful week. Next video tomorrow, we'll talk about what you did last week. Okay, and until then, I will see you on Canvas. God bless.